All right, so you have some questions, and if not, I have some questions for you. And you can come down and speak if you're a strong voice. Speak and speak up, young people, and you can speak from where you are. Yes?
Tim.
Hi, Tim.
My art exhibit here is actually a painting, but I heavily pursue photography.
Oh, good.
It's my strong point.
Really?
And I'm just wondering how hard it was for you to really make a career out of being a photographer and make connections and make your name out there. How hard it was for you, how nervous.
It's very difficult. It's still difficult. And I have to tell you, Chandler, I went from a transition where I was working as a photographer and making a living working as a public events photographer. I worked for the city of Newark for 12 years. I was photographing dance for dance companies. I was doing portraits, headshots for artists. And there was a period where I was working as a photographer, and that was not basically all I was doing, because I was still teaching. I was always teaching. So there was a transition where I was doing that with black and white film and color film to a point that digital dropped me almost off of the map, and then I had to go to another curve. So it's difficult. It's difficult. But what you have to do is you have to do it consistently. You have to do it well. One of my strong points was I started out in photography making real money at it was as a journalist. I would take the pictures, I would go home that night, I would develop the film, I'd make a contact sheet in the morning. I had a darkroom in my basement, I still do. Contact sheet in the morning, and I get the work out in the afternoon. And then I go out and shoot again. And I built a reputation for doing good work and doing it fast. So that's really how I built my reputation as a photographer, doing good work and getting it out fast. You know, I didn't worry about sleeping. You know, whenever I shot film, you know, no, I'm telling you, I got home at 1 o'clock that night from doing something, I had to develop the film. The secret to developing black and white film is it can take you 20 minutes to develop a roll of black and white film if you know how to do it. People think it takes hours. No, it takes 20 minutes. You know, so that was the secret. And coming through consistently for my clients, and they spread the word. So, you know, I don't do it like that. I don't really work as a working photographer the way I used to, because digital has taken a lot of the power out of it. Everybody's got a digital camera, and everybody's a photographer. And I don't have a problem with that. To me, photography is the quintessential art form for the masses. Everybody's got a camera, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, everybody should have a camera, because to me, the camera is meant to document your personal history and your family life, okay? And if you're doing that with a camera, then, you know, it's good. But it's rough. It still is, you know. I make X amount as a photographer. I make X amount as an artist. I make X amount as a teacher, okay? I teach a lot, you know. I really teach a lot and teach photography for the Newark Museum. I work with the organization Arts Horizons. They give me residencies, you know, 5, 6, 7 times a year. So I'm probably making more of a living as a photography teacher now than I am as a photographer, quite frankly. Did I answer your question? Yes, yes. Yes, yes, question. Hi, Noel. How has it benefited? How is it? Yes, college helped immensely, because the people that I met in college, a lot of them I know today, a lot of them have given me jobs over the years. I've been working at the Boys and Girls Clubs in Newark for 18 years. A woman I went to college with got me that job, okay? The people that you meet in college, you're going to see them for the rest of your life, and they're going to help you to get through. As I said, I had a teacher in college, Rhonda Moorman, who was my dance teacher. And when I was in college, I learned to organize dance concerts. So she was the sort of the artistic director, and I was the administrative director. I was an officer in a student group all the time, so I could get tickets and book the room. And she taught me how to do this. And years later, like I said, I danced in a dance company with my teacher. You know, Ben Jones, who I met in high school, I studied with him through college. I've been in exhibits with him. You know, he's been my mentor. He's really guided. Does that mean my time is up? He's really he's really guided me through my career. So college was very important to me. I found friends there who, I'm in a show at the Harlem State Office building right now, organized by a friend of mine from my college days. So the people in college will be important to you, and the teachers too, really. And then also the best thing that I learned at my college was that I came in and I had very little resources, and I went into the college and I said, wow, all of these resources are available to me? You have to take advantage of the resources that are there. That's the most important thing. Find out what resources they have and how you can use them to benefit you. Anybody else? Yes. Say that again, speak up. My biggest influence? Boy, that's a good question. I couldn't say I've had any biggest influence. I mean, the world and art is my biggest influence, really. Boy, that's a good question. Well, I have to say, really, my biggest influence is my photogenic mind. Okay, it's not photographic. I can't see your face and take a picture and remember you forever. But I have what I call a photogenic mind. My mind is generated by photographs, by things that I see and go click, and then use them later. I mean, the art that I do is informed by the photograph. There's a gentleman in West Orange, George Tarr. He's 94 years old. Fantastic artist. And I say, Mr. Tarr, how do you remember this? Mr. Tarr is working on a piece now from a foundry he worked in 1940. I say, Mr. Tarr, the details are so accurate. How can you remember these? Do you use photographs? No, he's working from his mind. I have to work from photographs. So probably because I always loved photographs. I mean, when I was a little kid, I would look at photographs for hours, dissecting them. So my art, the starting point is some photographic thing that's happening in my head. I mean, really, I realized that. Someone else. Yes, in the back. Speak up. Say that again. I can't hear you. Okay. Well, the main thing is they're all art, and all the elements are the same. And then I have broken up time so that I don't see times, I don't see minutes, hours. I see a series of things I have to accomplish, and then I have to squeeze them in. Then I succeeded in sort of like destroying the concept of time, you know. So there's a space continuum that allows me to have a series of tasks, and then I do the series of tasks. I really don't know. I don't know. You know, but for me, it's sort of like they're all just connected. Because they're all connected, I learned to dance. I found out doing traditional African dance, if I wanted to be a better dancer, I had to learn to play the music. So I learned to play the music. You know, things just keep stepping forward, and I have to find time to do them. But you know, and then when I was your age, I had a lot of energy. Now I don't. You know, I wish I could do it. I don't know how. But I guess for me, the elements of art, shape, form, texture, understanding the history of it, they're all the same in every medium. So to me, then there's nothing different between dance and taking pictures and collage. It's all the same. You know. Anybody else? Yes. Gentlemen, excuse me, fellas, one of you guys next. One of the fellas next, okay? Gentlemen, go ahead. I prefer film, but since I do it for a living, I use digital. You know, I was you know, shooting film, and my clients are saying, listen, do you want to keep doing this? I need the pictures now. So, you know, I naturally made the transition. But I resisted it. I did resist it. But you know, in terms of a photograph, there's nothing that has the purity of a black and white photograph printed in a darkroom. There's nothing like that. Digital can't, no matter what kind of Photoshop program you use, no matter what kind of paper you use, no matter what kind of machine you use, nothing is going to replace that black and white photograph. It's not. And then I was telling one of the aides, you know, Black and white photograph is going to make a comeback in 20, 30 years. It's going to be an avant-garde form of photography. And, you know, I'm going to be that old guy who they say is this old guy in West Orange. He's got this thing in his basement called a dark room. And he uses these magical things called chemicals. You know, it's going to go away, but I believe it's going to come, black and white is going to come back 20, 30 years. People are going to want to do it. Gentlemen? Yes. Say that again. You take a web belt, army web belt. You can remove the buckle, take a piece of fabric. This web belt is 1 inch, okay, thick. Piece of fabric, 3 inches. You take the piece of fabric, 3 inches, you cut it as long as the belt is. You take a little Yoo-hoo glue, a little glue, and put it on the belt. You take the belt and put it right in the middle of the fabric and just smooth it on so that it's stuck. You take 1 inch and you flip it over, the other one, and flip it over, and then you sew down one side and you sew down the other side. Okay, you sew a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom, put the belt buckle back on, and you have a belt. Okay? Web belt. Yes. I see someone pointing to someone. Yes.
As a known photographer, for someone who's photographed dancers, what advice do you have for artists who mainly capture the human form or try to get something expressive out of that through portraiture or photography?
I'd say try concert dance. Try taking pictures of dancers performing on the stage live. And sit in the front row in the middle seat and go to work. Okay? Front row, middle seat, and work. Try not to use zoom lenses. Try to use fixed focal length lenses. 50 millimeter will kind of get you the stage, and 85 will get you soloists. Okay, but that's what I would tell you to do. And that's the challenge. I photographed dancers in the studio posed. Nice, hold it. Very nice. But the real action is when they're performing on the stage and they're not posing. There are people out there who paid money, so they're dancing. So that's what I would suggest that you try.